Hey guys, Morgan SLV here. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Once again, I thank everybody for tuning in, okay? 8/15/2010, gold. 1214.72, silver at 1810. Today I'm going to go over a little bit about why I think that silver is going to explode. There's some other reasons that I haven't actually written down on my little crib notes here. But let me go over the things that kind of stick out in my mind that I've studied over the last few years. One of them is our dollar. Let's go over our dollar for a second. Our dollar, our U.S. currency, is a fraud. Fraud meaning on the scale of let's say we all remember the Enron scandal, correct? When a fraud ends, it usually ends quickly, suddenly, and pretty ugly, right? So when this dollar finally does take its final bounce, there's going to be a lot of people sitting around going, what just happened? I mean, I had $10 million in the market, on Monday, and it's Friday, and what do you mean it's gone? Well, that's what happens when you have a fraud at the tail end of its lifespan, so to speak. As we all know, or a lot of us know, that the average fiat currency lasts about 30 years. And the last I checked, ours is about 38, 39 years old. All frauds typically end suddenly and swiftly. That is why you see such huge upswings, if you're talking about the dollar, in gold and silver. Okay? I was explaining to a guy last night, I said, look, the reason you want to take a real close look at gata.org, is because they're talking about when you suppress the price of gold and silver, you are basically turning off the fire alarm in your home, meaning this. A little bit of smoke comes out of a frying pan. We all know what it's like when your damn, smoke alarm goes off, correct? Well, what if the battery was disconnected? Or what if the voltage was incorrect, right? And that's basically what the manipulators, JP Morgan and whatnot, they're manipulating the price of silver, let's say, and the smoke alarm doesn't go off. If we were to let gold and silver, float freely, they would have been much higher. If I think it's been said several times that gold would be about $2,300 an ounce just to take care of inflation, right? And compared to its 1980 high. So the bottom line is this: when you suppress it, you've basically unplugged the smoke alarm, which keeps all the sheeple. I kind of like that. I heard it from a friend of mine. He goes, "We don't want to wake up the sheeple, right?" It keeps them lulled to sleep. So the promise made to the public when the Fed was created, you guys are going to love this. So the promise, let's go over this listen to me closely. The promise that was made to the public when the Federal Reserve came into being was to prevent, say it with me, inflation. How is that working out? Right? So I constantly have to get on my father and other people that want to blame like the sitting president, right? I'm going to blame Obama, or I'm going to blame Bush for all this inflation. Well, hey, undoubtedly, as far as I'm concerned, he's playing for their team, and I'm in agreement with that. The thing that I don't agree with is this stuff started happening, prior to 1913, prior to the Fed, but once the Fed got in there, they really took care of the job for us, right? And all of a sudden now, instead of a Coke, I can remember when Cokes were 5 cents. Now, they were the little bottles, and they were the cool-looking little curvy glass bottles. I really liked the way they looked. I don't really like Coca-Cola, but I did like the way those bottles looked. But I remember when they were 5 and 10 cents. I don't know what they are today. Buck, anywhere from, $1 to $2. I don't know, somewhere in there, right? What happened? It's called inflation, the Federal Reserve. As gold and silver go up in price, it attracts more capital. So in doing that, when gold and silver go up in price and attracts more capital, it exposes the fraud. It starts to ease the fraud out of the system, which is our currency. right? So if you're the Fed and your baby, or if you're the government, let's say, and your baby is the dollar, and you're looking over here and saying gold and silver, we really can't have that competing with our dollar. You have an incentive to make sure that gold and silver do not look too attractive, right? Well, bottom line is, when it goes up, as it goes up, and as the American people and the rest of the world wake up to the fact that, well, gold and silver are money and nothing else, and never mind all the other factors that are pulling on silver, which is all the industrial uses. Man, I've learned a lot. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning talking to a buddy of mine named Mike from out of state, talking about silver. He was telling me silver is in clothing, it's in plywood, it's in gift wrap paper. I mean, it's everywhere. And so let's go on. Let's move on a little bit here. Given silver's scarcity, it could be worth as much or more during a mega spike than gold. Well, duh. For the first time in the planet, that's what I was telling my buddy Mike the other night. For the first time in the planet, the whole planet, for the first time in history, the whole planet can buy silver. Okay? Secondly, for the first time in history, silver is rarer than gold. Now, silver in the Earth's crust is found 10 to 1. As far as if you have the ratio from silver to gold, 10 to 1, it could be mined at this time 10 to 1 to gold, and it's not being mined at that. Why? Because the price is so far suppressed that there's a lot of mining companies that, they're not going to make any money if they do mine it. So as it increases in value, Jason Hummel said he could see it possibly being mined at 20 to 1. Okay. The silver to gold ratio, which, yes, you could have a mega spike and you could have silver past gold, which is, my God, I mean, if I'm holding any silver at that time, I'm going to be smiling, okay? And then as it starts to be mined at a higher rate, the spike will come down. So you're going to have to really pay attention. I plan to get off the train way before that happens, but it would be neat to have some of it at that time. Either the price of silver, get this, either the price of silver must go up, or we must stop using silver. I'm going to say it one more time. Either the price of silver must go up, or we must stop using silver. I'm telling you right now, folks. I'm telling you right now. Buy some silver. Get some silver today. Talked to a buddy of mine last night. And I told him, I said, look, man, there's a chance you're going to be able to buy a brand new home over the next 5 years for 500 ounces of silver or less. There's a lot of people saying it'll be between 100 and 200,000 or 100 and 200 ounces of silver to buy a brand new medium price home in the U.S. Now, I don't know if I'm going to stay in the U.S., but if I am, I plan to have 10 or 20 of those little puppies, okay? Bottom line is, keep studying. I think I'm the only guy on the internet that actually verbalizes. Crack a frickin' book. Get out there and read some Peter Schiff, Robert Kiyosaki, Mike Maloney. Pay attention to these guys. Why me? Why silver? Great guy. Take a look at him. I'm telling you right now, people, study up. We're on the roller coaster. It's left a little station there. Study up. Morgan SLV out.